My name is Nicole Cattaruzza. I am in what's called a primordial deathbed. My grandmother before me suffered a horrific death, a degenerative disease. They called it was a mixture. They, at the time, didn't have names for it. So she got three different opinions. One said ALS, one said MS, and one said Lou Gehrig's disease after a known Olympian. I, today, being August 2nd, 2021, walked in memorial of my grandmother who suffered from this degenerative disease prior to my arrival, actually in her 50s. What the family tree lineage is that Mariah MCCLURG-GUNDER, who changed her name, felt more comfortable with Marie and without a brogue for some reason in this heathen territory called America, USA, and New York. She had 10 children in New York with a man by the name of Clifford Gunder. Clifford Gunder was a corporal. I don't know what a service that is because I don't have access to those records. And he earned a Purple Heart. That much I know. I walked in memorial of him as well today. He is buried because of his service and Marie's degenerative disease next to a gigantic trunk of a very tall tree. And the white marble marker is in the National Cemetery with a Christian cross for both Clifford and for Marie. Marie also lost a child in 1955. That's how you know it's her and Clifford. That's their marking. I am having biological terrorist attacks. I know a little bit more than they did only because of extra special factor that I have. So now I'm an only child. Now I had today's the anniversary of Judith Marie Gunder, which is one of 4 girls that Marie had. And she died. Okay, so Marie from Ireland was born August 21st, 1919. Died April 3rd, 1991. That's important for my genealogy. The second, and my bioterrorist mapping. Judith, who was born August 2nd, and it doesn't have the date. I have it on her grave marker that I took photos of today. The way she's buried in PINELAWN, because not only was the white heritage of all of the work that the Purple Heart winner of Clifford Gunder, it was almost like it was completely erased, all of his service credits and whatnot for his grandchildren because of sociopathic and socioeconomical shitheads in the New York tri-state area and on the northeast coast of this America. So in order to get to the National Cemetery, by the way, where I went to get this particular map, it says January 2018. I don't know why, because it's actually August 2nd, 2021 today. That's the date. She's in section X, which marks the spot on the pirate booty and whatnot of bioterrorism kiddos, and it's Gunder Marie in the national system. So she's in this spot under a large tree. I was there with my youngest son, who's the Mayan calendar baby, which is Cat Scratch Anthony Teofril III, and I was with my mother, her daughter, Linda Marie Gunder, 1948, the Tau, 1949, and I was with Louis, January 1949 today. We took the Southwest from National Cemetery, which is like North Central Cemetery in Long Island. We took southwest entrance. We entered by the southwest side to the entrance East 3, which is William H. Locke Drive. On Judy, we then went down Lewis by accident, if there is such a thing, which in my case there's not. Took the first circle because Linda was doing the co-piloting and was doing a horrific job as usual. The two of them don't work well together and don't have the mental capacity to do anything properly. Took us down the OR, and then before they hit Greenlawn Avenue, took a side street left, which would take us to the northerly direction to Vista Road. They then course corrected and got onto Vista Road, followed that down to a small cross-section by the well, W-E-L-L, that has no name, onto Forest Circle. On Forest Circle, they made a northwest turn around to get to Constitution Drive North. They had to make a northwest turn, and once we were in the northwest position with the car, Judith is then in the, if you take Constitution Drive North, the entire section, Judith is in the northeast quadrant of the Constitution Drive North section of the PINELAWN Memorial Park and Arboretum. The crossroads is Forest Circle and Constitution Drive North. There's also a water spigot that says not potable water, which is significant. In the road, the metal capped read ARIS, and then India, I-N-D-I, I'm sorry, I-N-D-I-A. Do you see the color of my eyes and my skin? Only thing that will ever claim credit for anything in this alphabeta system and in this calligraphy. That's it. I'm not arguing over this shit anymore. So now that happened. When I was at the national U.S. side, it was everything that I am not in heritage, genealogy, and lineage and ancestry. For some reason, they are running the National Cemetery. They have Central American Landscaping Company. And when I was in PINELAWN, they had a John Deere milkman, like could have been one of my ancestors I've never met before. And I would have gone over to say hello and thank you for taking care of Judith's plot and the upkeep, because he keeps it absolutely pristine, even though it's not national. It's the children of the national with the biological terrorism unit. I would have gotten out of the car to purposely thank him. After I sat in and I looked at him for a moment, I wanted to actually go thank him and take a photo with him. But Lewis would not let me out of the car. He thought that I was absolutely ridiculous, out of my head, and that I would embarrass myself and the gentleman. I said, he's the one who's in silent, quiet, whatever, every day taking care of Judith in her death. You don't think that he deserves some recognition, Lewis? And he says, oh, you're so ridiculous. So ridiculous. No, Lewis, I just don't have access to the public. And whatever public does arise and show up that looks right, I would like to thank them commemoratively, but I can't. So he was driving a John Deere tractor that looked like these colors, but he was much, and by the way, he was much more white than I appear in this film. Yeah, I can see myself right now. I look like I have a peach-like filter on, but that's part of my biological terror under this sun. But he was much, much more white. I say the color of cow's milk, only because that's his ancestry and mine as well when I first arrived. although my visualization has changed slightly. I credit it to Call of Duty Modern Warfare. This is the color I walk that the last time I had skeletal orthotics made in some planetary whatever, and then my memory erased again and just stuck back into the slot and hole in time. But they needed anatomical measurements of my growth and progress for the biological terrorism unit to do things from Quiet Place of documents and whatnot. So now I asked, okay, so the genealogical Long Island National Cemetery, the ride in, this one gets a little confusing. The grave locator office, straight ahead when you come in, we took, I think that's, it's hard to read. I think it says Main Portal Drive. And I don't know if Lewis stayed on Southern Drive. I don't think he did. I think he stayed on Main Portal Drive because it crisscrosses one another. And he went to Section X, which one side is Main Portal Drive between the X and the Y. And then the other side is Memorial Drive South, which is the W, which also could be seen as like my symbol on the other side of my grandmother and grandfather's area. But I do believe that they're on the XY quadrant of the Memorial Drive South, Main Portal Drive in the signature X, which I put with a hunter green. Now, here's the thing. My Aunt Judy was buried by a tree. I know she's the child of a war veteran that was precluded and excluded from some certain things that he wasn't able to pass on to his children. I know that my Judith is the first, my mom's the second born. Judith is either the third or the fourth girl. She was very, very young. She died of, they said, because she smoked. Right, no, that's their human, stupid, dumb, fucking useless Linda and Louie go off of in lost head cases. She lost barometric pressure and atmospheric pressure. She lost the ability for her rib cage to expand intercostally and intercostally, so she wasn't able to grab enough air. Everything was very arduous and very laborious, and so she died, I think, like late 50s, early 60s, and she left one child behind. And let me think about this, but she's August 2nd, and this year is 2021 that I went to go pay homage and memorial to her and my grandmother. My birthday is actually tomorrow. My son Alexander the Great, I've been told he's too busy to come to visit with me since I no longer seem to matter. But my mother did something with, she wants to take them to a pancake house, the IHOP, IHOP, which is their, like, best tradition ever is to have breakfast for dinner because we're breaking a rule, and it's, like, really serious in our house. And this American has no culture, has no self-esteem, has nothing worth saving. I mean, there's no old tradition, there's no new tradition, there's just nothing. Totally wasted trip. But what I don't want is I do not want my inheritance to be that of a biological disorder just because a socio-political shitheads lost their economic gain or loss, or I don't know what the hell they do, and dumb fucking and useless. I haven't been able to get a job, haven't been able to figure out who's responsible. It's all, it's all or none with me. All I know is I went to a funeral director at Gleason's after this little walk of biological terrorism mapping, and I asked the funeral director at Gleason's, I walked him through, I said, I don't have a master's degree, I don't have a PhD per se, I don't have a higher education. I mean, I am like the low American whatever that grew up from 1978. So now my grandmother has a documented case of a degenerative disorder, and my grandfather was a veteran. He knew things, but I don't have access to him because he died. Somebody beat him so badly, he went into the hospital and then died of some complication. They, for the longest time, told me it was TB, tuberculosis. That was a lie. So then that means that I never met him. Oh, let me think about it. But Marie did suffer in her like 50s, very young, and then she died in her 70s, really young. So now I don't want to suffer from the same thing. I see the humans, they walk around like raising money for Luke Gehrig and raising money for all this charitable. Where does all that money go? Who's doing all this research? Whose salaries are you funding? Because I know you're not getting anywhere, and I can't seem to find a job, and I actually have some answers and some things to get done. But yet I'm so racist. Right, I wear pedal pushers because I don't have enough money for a full set of pants or a uniform. So I know that's racy in like 1600s, right? I have open-toed shoes and I'm not married. Right? Yeah, whatever. The paper says I'm married to Anthony Tiafrio. It's not. It's just I needed to document other things for bioterrorism unit. But if he died today, I'd be fine. I really don't care. I didn't marry him because I needed something from him other than to nail his fucking ass to the wall for everything he fucking did. So I don't have to worry about it during my biological case that's more important than anything in his fucking closet. If they all die, all of his shitbags, my mom had a brain injury. Good. That happened to you fucking shitheads before I fucking ever was on a biological map to run into you shitheads. I'm not on this journey to fucking help your asses. I couldn't give two fucking shits less. I got real shit to do. And I got Alexander and myself as a quantum string of time that is totally single and separate from your human stupidness. And I have a whole national cemetery full of dark-skinned representatives just looking to fucking quantify a reason why they should be able to take me down like a fucking target I didn't even fucking know I was born with. And now I have to kind of put myself together just to save my future so I don't wind up losing the opportunity to chew or stand up or move. Because let me tell you something right now, there are times I get up in the middle of the day where I'm in a seated position. I go to stand on my own 2 feet and the pads of my feet do not hold the weight and the fluid the way that it should so badly that I physically have to touch the exterior wall to steady myself, to gain some in my lower back and through my legs. This is not normal physical activity. The microns and high radio wave frequency in the local area is tuned way too high, and none of the shitheads in the local area know what the fuck to do. I even talked to a funeral director and he's like, I wish I knew what to do, but like, you have a computer? I'm like, yeah, I don't use a computer. It kind of defeats the purpose of I don't really want to like do radio wave things. I was like, I have a phone, that's it, and it's for strict documentation and if my kids call me, which they don't, so. Star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. My bioterrorism map completed.